Stewart, and today I'll be teaching a reading lesson on our story, The Big Trip. I will be focusing on an after-reading strategy from the book, Teaching Reading in Social Studies, Science, and Math by Laura Robb. The strategy that I will be focusing on is Venn diagrams for comparing and contrasting in our story, The Big Trip. Okay, everybody, I need you to already have your books open, and on page 53, we're going to read this story, The Big Trip. Our skill that we're working on today is comparing and contrasting. In this story, we're going to meet two characters, and these characters are going to be very different for the whole story, and then we're going to see something happen towards the end of the story that makes them change. Okay. I am going to take a trip far away, Pig said to Goat one day. How will you go? Asked Goat. Let me think for a moment, said Pig. Maybe I will go by bike. That will be a very nice trip. Oh dear, said Goat. You could fall off a bike. Ah, said Pig. Then I will drive a car. It's not a good idea, Pig, said Goat. A car can break down. So far, what you can see is that these characters are very different. Every time Pig comes up with a new way to travel on his trip, Goat is always bringing up something bad that can happen on this trip if that is the way he travels. Oh, said Pig, then I will go by horse on my trip. I'm not sure about that, said Goat. Horses can be very jumpy. So again, he is turning his ideas down. Okay, said Pig, then I am going to go by donkey cart. A donkey cart is very quiet. So Pig is still being very patient and coming up with different ways to travel. Not good, said Goat. Donkeys can be very stubborn. So again, there goes Goat, turning his ideas down. Then I will go by train, said Pig. Oh, Pig, said Goat. A train could get stuck in a tunnel. Good point, Goat, said Pig. Then I will fly by plane. What if the engine stops, said Goat. You'd have to parachute. True, said Pig. Then I will go by hot air balloon. So Pig is still, he comes up with these ideas to travel. Goat tells him how bad that idea is, and then Pig still keeps coming up with these new ideas to travel. The hot air balloon could have a hole, said Goat. Okay, I will not travel by land. I will not travel by air. I will go by sea, said Pig, on a ship. So he's talked about traveling by land, traveling by air, and his last resort is traveling by sea on a ship. Let's see how Goat feels about that. Oh no, exclaimed Goat. Don't do it. The ship could run into a reef when passing through fog, or run into a heavy storm at sea, and there are sharks all around at sea, so many you couldn't count them. So even the sea is not good enough for Pig to travel, according to Goat. And you could find yourself alone on a desert island in the middle of the ocean with pirates that could come on that desert island by pirate ship. So Goat is just making up these crazy excuses for Pig not to go on this trip. Stop! Stop, exclaimed Pig. So now Pig finally is getting very angry with Goat. He has turned down all his ideas and he doesn't know what else to do. I could fall off a bike, break down in a car, get thrown by a horse, never get there with a donkey, or get stuck on a train. I might have to parachute from a plane or from a hot air balloon, and traveling by ship could bring me many troubles. So I will not go anywhere, said Pig. Having a big trip is a very scary thing. So Pig was so excited about this big trip that he was going to go on. And he kept coming up with all these great ways to travel. But Goat kept telling him all the things that could go wrong on his trip and all the reasons that he should not go. And then Pig finally just gave in and said that going on this big trip was scary, so he wasn't going to do it anymore. But now it says, unless, said Goat, looking at Pig, you go with a friend. So all along, Goat just wanted to go on this trip with Pig. He did not want Pig to leave him alone. He wanted to go with him. He wanted to tag along and be his pal. All right, so now that we have read our story, The Big Trip, we are going to focus on this Venn diagram and comparing and contrasting the different things that happened in the story, the different ways that Pig wanted to travel, the things that Goat said that could go wrong, and then in the end, what they both wanted. So, what we're going to write first is what Pig wanted to do. The first thing that Pig wanted to do was travel by land, and he mentioned going by a bike. So Pig wanted to ride a bike on his trip, but then Goat, he said that you could fall off of a bike. Okay, so they're both very different. Pig wanted to ride a bike, but then Goat said you could fall off a bike. That's not a good plan. Okay, the next thing, Pig wanted to drive a car. So the bike plan didn't work out for him. Now he wanted to drive a car. But then Goat had an idea of what could go wrong with that. Goat said that a car could break down. So again, Goat is just coming up with these negative ideas of how something could go wrong. If we skip ahead to what happened when he didn't want to travel on land, when he wanted to travel by air, he said that he could go by a hot air balloon. Okay, so a hot air balloon is how he wanted to travel next. And then Goat said that the top could pop. Okay, so the hot air balloon was Pig's next plan when he wanted to travel by air, and then Goat said it could pop, it would sink to the ground. It wouldn't be a good idea. Then one of Pig's last ideas was to travel on a boat. So Goat said, when Pig said he could travel on a boat, Goat said that the boat could sink and that would land him on a desert island. So, Pig keeps coming up with these great ways to travel, and Goat keeps telling him all the ways that could go wrong. So we can see one person's story compared to the other person's story. Now, at the end of the story, we learned one thing that they could agree on how they could travel, and that was with traveling with a friend. So our Venn diagram talks about what one character wants or what one character sees, and then compare that to how another character sees things or what another character wants. And in the middle of our Venn diagram, we put what they both want by the end of the story or throughout the story. So in this case, we had pig and goat, and then they both share the same idea by the end of our story. So a Venn diagram is a great way for us to use comparing and contrasting in our story, The Big Trip.